In the city of La Unión, south of Chile, Polincay installed an MDF plant. It's here where the company makes its feedstock using renewable sources coming from plantations managed with the best quality standards. Once the wood is in the plant, the front wheelers move the logs to chain transports. This transport receives the wood, which is then carried to a belt conveyor that feeds it into a chipping machine. The chipping machine has the function of converting the logs into small chips. These will be then delivered in a conveyor belt to a chip screen. The chip screen was designed to separate the wood particles into three categories: small, medium, and large, allowing to process only the medium-sized chips that are the best size to make MDF boards. New belt conveyors at the outside of the chip storage silos will then carry the material to an elevator transport. Its chain operates inside a closed box. The clean chip is then fed through the discs and mechanically converted into wood fibers. In the dryer piping, 105 meters in length, with a hot airflow, the wet fiber with resin is carried and allowed into the cyclone or centrifugal separators. When the fiber is dry, it's pneumatically carried to a storage silo for dosing towards the mat forming section. In the mat forming section, the fiber is distributed through the entire surface of the forming belt transport. Here, a homogeneous cake of fiber called mat is created. In this step, the weight is controlled through continuous humidity measurements to achieve a constant density in the final product. Once the fiber mat is formed, it's necessary to extract some air. The first station where this is done is called the pre-press. The pre-press reduces the thickness of mat to less than half and increases its density significantly. With this done, it is possible to continue to the cutting stage, where it's cut longitudinally and transversely. The belt conveyors carry the mat to the loader, who has the function of putting the mat inside the hot press plates. The press adds temperature and pressure to the mat in order to increase the density of the fibers, forming the MDF raw board. This cycle is supervised, monitored, and observed by a state-of-the-art automatic system. The transport through the cooler is responsible for taking out the boards after the press unloader has handed it over to the star-type cooler. After this, the boards are trimmed longitudinally and transversely and stored. In the sanding section, the boards are polished in order to obtain hard surfaces and calibrated thicknesses. For this, the boards are put into the first sanding machine called brusher, where coarse sand belts are used to reduce the thickness of the boards. After this, the boards pass to a second machine called polisher, using very fine-grained sand belts that allow to obtain boards with a very smooth surface. When the boards exit the sanding process, they are taken to the melamine line. They are then put on an entrance table and pass through cleaning rollers that take all the existing impurities. Then, they are transported by means of a cart with suction pads to the rug. Once the paper is put through the transporting cart, the board is carried to the press where pressure and temperature is applied to the paper on the board. This makes it ready to be taken to the wire drawing, where the paper is cut, leaving a homogeneous board on its four sides. In the next stage, quality is controlled and classified, making the boards ready for packaging and shipping to clients. Thanks to this, effective integration of the new line in the productive chain of the company has been reached. Polincay is committed to continue renewing its productive processes so as to increasingly adapt to the demands of its clients. Polincay.